Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mother-in-Law Suite. This week I am alone again, but that's okay. I think I'm going to be fine this episode just by myself. There's been a few things that I've been thinking about doing, some topics that I wanted to talk about. Sometimes I can't really talk about like the not necessarily deeper, but the more thinking man's topic, more of a thinker's topic, the big brain stuff, when I have someone here, because sometimes they just won't align with my thought processes, or they just won't understand what I'm trying to say or anything like that. So, I've been thinking a lot about social concepts, right? This is gonna sound weird. It sounds weird already, but if you whatever. Anyways, in the past few years, I've worked quite a few jobs, and I've noticed that when I'm talking to people, sometimes it's a very interesting way that you have to form the conversation. It's almost like a dance, and each person's different in the way you have to approach it. And I'm kind of understanding, like, throughout these times, nobody really talks about it either. People just kind of talk like it's second nature, and people have their different cadences and rhythms, and localized, not necessarily language, but I guess grammar, or ways they say things or do things. It could be geographically, or the people that they're around, whatever it is. Um, they they have different ways of talking, and sometimes it's kind of hard to pick up on those, or not necessarily like accent wise, but like depending on social cues that some people give you, can change the way they perceive what you're going to say. So if I go up to someone, I'm like, "Hey man, how's your day going? Hope you're doing good," right? Some person might just say, "Oh, that's an introduction. Hey man, I'm doing good, man. I hope you're having a good day too." You know? Some people might take that as like, do I not look like I'm doing good? I mean, I should be like, I'm not frowning, I'm not upset. I have no visible, like, nothing is showing on my face that I'm upset. Why are you asking me if I'm okay? Of course I'm okay. What's wrong? Did I do something wrong, right? And then there's people like, this might come from a different aspect of like them not wanting to be asked how they're doing. That's aside from the fact of social communication. That's like, that might be something like they're going through something, they don't want to talk, or in general it might be a trigger of some sort. I can understand that. But here recently I've been noticing, like, at work and things like that. Sometimes if someone asks me a question, depending on the way they ask me, I can't answer it. So like, they'll be like, "Hey man, you pulled this material, or you did this. Um, why is the count off?" Right? If they phrased it like that, I'd be like, "Oh man, it said 42," or something like that. But a lot of the time, I can't answer questions if they like show me something and be like, "What is this?" Or like, if they don't, there's a lot of beating around the bush sometimes in the English language, and I don't know how to respond to it sometimes. And I don't know if it's just me, or if it, like I said, it's the constructs, or the social norm of how it's formed, the formalities of conversing in general. um it can be really hard to understand. So like, there's a lot of times where, like, I'll try to seem really either empathetic, or really nice and outreaching, trying to talk to people, trying to say, "Hey man, I haven't talked to you in a minute. How's it been going? How you doing? What's life been like?" Really trying to step out of the, not out of boundaries, but step out of a comfort zone, and extend a conversation. And it's up to the other person to reach the grab onto the rope. And sometimes they will grab onto the rope, and you'll have a really nice conversation, but a lot of the times they won't. And I've been having a hard time trying to process if it's me or the person. I'm kind of getting to the conclusion that it's usually just dependent on the person that you're asking, and how you worded it, and if it's worded well to their nature, if that makes sense. Um if you can construct your words or your sentences, or with an understanding that they will see, or something that will seem comfortable or familiar to them will change how their response, or if, even if they respond at all. So like, some people, all you need to say is hey, and they'll respond, hey, oh, that's simple, hey, how's it going, or hey, what's up, hey, what's up, or hey, haven't talked to you in a minute, it's been a while. Sometimes if you say that, they'll think, oh, well, it's my fault, I haven't talked to them, I'm just not going to talk to them because they think I'm upset with them or something. Hey man, just checking in. Sometimes they think that you think something's wrong with them, so they won't answer back or something like that. It goes in this weird spiral, or it's such a strange thing, just in general. Like, ultimately, language and just communication. We're the only animal in the world, for the most part, that vibrates air, right? That vibrates air in such a way that there are thousands of different meanings to different words in different languages, probably hundreds of thousands, of course, over the course of all the languages on the world in the world, maybe, if not millions of different types of meanings to words, or to context in normal everyday sentences or anything like that. So it's really strange for someone that isn't necessarily educated in the subject to kind of look at it from not an outsider's perspective, but from like from a step back, instead of being like not flight or flight, but like on autopilot when trying to talk to someone, really trying to be present in that conversation, and not only listen to the conversation, but listen to the way that it flows, and the actual structure of how you're conversing with said person or with said people or anything like that. And it gets really interesting because sometimes, like, people can get real hard on themselves if, let's say, you message someone, they leave you on red, or they take something the wrong way, and I don't know if how I should correct myself if I said something wrong. um you know hey, I'm running a bit late, sorry. You say something like that, someone, and they say okay, some people think, oh well, was that an upset okay? Are they really okay? Are they not okay? And it's not necessarily inconsiderate, because if the one person's fine and they say, if they really meant okay, yeah, that's fine, and but the other person thinks an okay is upset because their girlfriend says okay when they're upset or something, it can have totally different meanings in that sentence. So they think them being late is not okay, even though the person said it was okay, because the context of okay is different and they receive it differently than this person who said it. I don't know how to, like, even now I just can't. I'm talking to myself for the most part, but it's a ramble, I guess, but it's a very strange thing. Just conversing, words, language, it's so bizarre how much depth and meaning we get from these weird little air particles hitting our eardrums and then our brain trying to figure it out. So it's been interesting trying to understand it and kind of further my knowledge, and just the subtle nuances of I guess people. But other than uh social cues and just understanding, I guess, people and the world and how to talk and not sound stupid. um I I've been playing some games. Something, we'll go back to something a bit more normal to the Mother-in-Law Suite podcast. um I've been the Lego Star Wars game, the new Lego Star Wars game came out. I've been playing that. It's a pretty good game. I've been watching the movie for each episode before I play the episode in the game. So it kind of gives me an overall recap, because I haven't seen the movies in a while. I've seen them many times, but it's been a few years since I have. Gives me a nice little nice little recap of everything that I've missed and everything that's been going on, or not missed, but just forgot. And it's been really fun going back through them, play, them playing the game after. This is a full reimagining of all the original games. So the Sky, not the Skywalker, but the complete saga, the Lego Star Wars complete saga, all those games, throw them out the window. They aren't the same. It's not the same. It's not a remaster. It's a full remake. It's a third person shooter basically at this point. It's really cool, very good. Comedy's still there. There's like a combo system for combat. The secrets and the world is so beautifully made. The graphics are very nice. It's a very very good all around game. Highly recommend if you have any interest in Legos or Star Wars. So definitely look into it if you're consider yourself a gamer, as one might say. So go so check that out if you haven't. um Anyways, before I was talking about Lego Star Wars, we were talking about the mental psyche of individuals and conversing, and what I didn't speak on while talking about the social concept and constructs of normal conversation flow, right? The social norm, as one would say. I didn't mention body language or anything like that, and that is an extremely important part of understanding the not only mental space but the acceptance of conversation and what sort of conversation one individual is willing to accept or engage in, right? So that was really carefully worded, and my brain was firing on all cylinders when I tried to say that. um so when you're talking to someone, right? If their arms are crossed and their head is down, they probably don't want to talk, right? But just because their body language is like that doesn't mean that their mental space is like that. They might be like hanging around listening to some music. So it doesn't hurt to try. You can say hey and see if their attitude changes, like, oh, someone's talking to me, let me, what's up, but if you keep talking to them and they don't change that, they might just not want to talk, and you can't beat yourself up for stuff like that, right? So this is coming, like I said, all of this is coming from like personal and experiences that I've seen and witnessed as I've always grown up ever since I was a kid. Like I've been a people watcher. Like there's bird watchers or whatever. I just like, if you eat in like a public food court at like a mall or something, you can kind of eavesdrop a little bit. You can hear some conversations, willing or not willing to. You're gonna hear them, and you're gonna see some things happen, or see conversations. Take a peek into different people's realities. Like one person's life isn't the same as yours, right? So just noticing and seeing how people react to different situations based off the way that they're perceiving the person that they are trying to engage in conversation with can impact the direction, or if a conversation happens at all. And I think that's really, I think that's just neat. I mean, it's the same thing kind of happens with animals, I guess. If a cat doesn't want you to pet it, it starts flipping its tail, right? And if a what do you call it? If a dog doesn't want you walking up to it, it'll bark at you or show its teeth. It's a lot of it is like common knowledge, and especially in extreme cases like that. But there's a lot more subtle nuance to it, or subtle, I guess, hints to it. If you're, let's say, in a workspace and you can't get snippy, or you can't show that exclaimed or extreme of a reaction or body language, or something like that. You can't really shoot someone of like a death glare or something at work, because they'll complain about it, or you might get in trouble for it. So you have to kind of work your way around it, or put on a face or something. And sometimes you can peel that face back, and you can understand if they don't want to talk or see what's going on, or sometimes you won't be able to understand it. So like, I just think it's really interesting. There's not really an objective to me talking about this, and a lot of it is just me kind of reiterating myself over and over again. But it's just such an an interesting thing to me, and I don't know why. It's just that in general, just realities. The fact that one person can view something completely different than I can and have a completely different reaction to things is it's mind-boggling to me sometimes, like it's crazy because you in your own mind, you're the center of your life. You are who you are. That is usually what comes first. If it's not, it's because it's someone else that you care about, someone important to you, and you make actions based off that, your experiences alone, no one else's. Now, unless it's like a certain case and you're trying to change things where you're like, let's say your kids, or your nephew or your niece or your mother, your sister, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents, anything like that. If there can be important people in your life, but either way, you are the one living your life, and inside your mind is one reality, but on the other side of the person, on in someone else's body, their life is the reality. They're the main character in their head, but in your head, you're the main character, right? So a lot of the time, people kind of throw out like, oh, who cares what they think, or oh, who cares what this is happening, or who cares about that. And in some cases, yes, who cares what they think. They don't. It doesn't matter. Like, wear what you want to wear, do what you want to do, be called what you want to be called, walk where you want to walk, things like that. But sometimes it does matter. If you're trying to walk into a trespass zone, you probably can't be there. Like, if you're trying to say something that can instigate violence, then you probably don't want to say that. But it's everybody has, I guess, reasoning, and I think it's really interesting that people just write things off or give up or don't say things. I'm starting to realize, like, I'm working at these jobs that I've been having. I'm quitting the job I'm at. I mentioned that before. I noticed that a year ago I was working at a production company, and I felt like I wasn't really moving anywhere with my life. I wanted to move out of state. I wanted to save up and go to college. So I quit my production job to get another production job, save up, move out, and go somewhere, do something, move out of state, right? But it's been 6 months and I've saved up, but nothing's happened. So I'm like, might as well do something about this. Might as well quit my job, move on, and try to change something before it gets too late. Because I'm noticing, I'm looking at these people, and like I'll hear them talking. Mind you, a lot of the time I have my earbuds in. It's loud in there, so I have my noise canceling earbuds in a lot, and I kind of zone out and do my work. But when I do take them out, I really focus and kind of try to understand the people around me, and see, like, who they are and why I guess why they are who they are as well. Like, one of my coworkers has a daughter, and he's been working there years. I think it's a daughter, or either way, he has a child, and it may be two, I think. And he's been working there for years, like 20 years, I think, 20 plus maybe. And then there's this other guy that's been working there for 40 years, and his wife was recently in the hospital, but she's out and she's okay, thank God. But all of these different people are battling different things. And like, I, at my job, like, all I do is I'll stand there sometimes for like 6 hours, and I'll like pen paper for the most part, like pen different types of paper or different types of sheets of material. And it gives me just a lot of time to think and reflect and just process things in general. It could be anything. It could be about the food I ate or my diet, or, oh, I need to get back in the gym more often, or, oh, my car suspension is kind of going a bit whatever, right? And all of these thoughts that I'm having while I'm working are the polar opposite of the thoughts that, you know, um, I'm not gonna say names, but Bob, like, for a placeholder name, like Bob over there is thinking. He might be thinking, oh well, if I save up this money, I might have enough money, to put Becky in daycare on Friday, so I can go out and, um, you know, take my wife out to dinner or go see something because we haven't been there in a while. Or, oh, my mom's not doing too good, I might need to go, drop the kids off somewhere and go take care of her or something. Or, man, I don't know how I'm gonna meet ends meet, this week. Or it can go over to someone else, uh, someone else might be having the conversation. Oh, I would love some pizza tonight for dinner. Oh my God, just a pepperoni, nice pepperoni. Get some bacon on there, some banana peppers, some mushrooms. Get some jalapenos on there. Get things a little spicy. We could get a good pizza pie tonight for dinner. Oh wait, no, forget pizza. Throw it out the window. What about hibachi? We could get hibachi for dinner tonight. That's the move. I think Japanese. No, Asian Chinese. It's low men tonight, baby. Like it can, like everybody can have completely different polar opposite conversations happening in their heads or thought processes or anything like that, and it's just, it, it's a reality of many realities. it's really crazy to me to think that in not even my reality, but like how, in not only the way you view yourself and think about yourself, but the way that other people think about you, right? Because your reality, or the person you think you are, could be a completely different person than Bob might think I am, you know. So it's just this really strange, crazy world that has so many different people that are exactly like you but not at all like you in whatsoever. They it's crazy trying to find these similarities when you on the base you look the same, you breathe the same, you think the same, your heart beats the same, you walk the same, you know, but there's so many things that just aren't the same. Your experiences, the context of your existence in general. It's it's crazy to me to think about that. But um yeah, no. I reiterate I reiterate myself a lot, and tried to catch myself doing it, and I'm trying not to do it so much. Um and but hopefully you could understand me for the most part. Speaking on a aspect of social, I guess, conversation or just wording in general, you might have been able to follow me, or you might might not have. Hopefully, I worded it in, the many times I reiterated myself to the point to where at least some of you could have found one of the ways that I said it to maybe grasp onto and understand. But it's just one of them things, I guess. One of the ways, the many mysteries of the world. So it's something. It is something else. I got one life on this earth, and I'm trying to live it, and I'm loving it. It's crazy. It's it's not always great. It's not always good, but it I have it. So so I'm fortunate enough to be here and living it and trying to figure it out, I guess. But it's neat. It's a cool thing, a cool mind candy, cool thought process. But yeah, no. But what else is wacky? Ha 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 ha. Good segue, right? Or dreams. Dreams are nuts too. That's another peek into your mental psyche, I guess. Maybe if you want to think it is. If you think it is, it might be. If not, who knows? Really. But I was gonna talk about some, maybe a dream I had, almost like a saga, like the Star Wars I was talking about. It's like a saga. It's like a bunch of. But there was like a series, like a television series of dreams I had when I was a kid, right? And it was about this king, right? Like a king, like King Arthur or someone, but he didn't have a name. He was just the king. He had a crown on, and he rode a pig, a pig, like a pig. So I was really young. I think I was probably about 10, maybe 8. It was over the course of years that I've had these dreams, and what would happen was the house would be filled with kids, some of them my friends, some of them I've never seen before, and we'd be running around, playing, having a good old time. First dream, having a grand old time. No, nothing's wrong in the world. We're living life. We're running around. We're like 3 feet tall, just just playing, gaming, having fun, and then bam, this door, the front door collapses on itself. It folds down, straight down, like someone put a C2 charge on it or something, and just blows it open. And standing on top of this door is this pig, pig, and this king is sitting on top of it, bossing it around, telling it where to go. It says, "Get that king, get him!" And the pig would crawl around or oink around, and then come around and it'd eat the kids. It's crazy, crazy dream. I don't know why I was dreaming it, but he'd just eat it up, swallow one swallow, just and they're gone. They're just gone. They're not there no more. So I had that dream first time, and I was running around. There was enough kids to where the pig was occupied, filled his belly, and left. He didn't see me. I was hid under the table, I think. Second dream wasn't really so lucky, the pig came in. I was playing around. This time we were kind of aware of it, and we were thinking, oh, it's about that time. It's about that time, because his attack schedule was it was on a tight schedule. The pig knew when it was feeding time, and so did we. So we would start running beforehand. And one time the door opened up, and the door came crashing down, and I ran down the hallway. I almost didn't make it, but I got under my parents' bed. And I laid there, and I was looking around. The pig kind of saw me, tried to get up under the bed, trying to get me, It couldn't, and then it finally got fed up and walked out the door, right? Now, the third and final, it's a trilogy more than a saga, I guess, but the third and final dream, right? I was playing around with the kids. We were hanging, having a good old time, but this time we were really prepared. We knew it was coming. Everybody was prepared. Everybody started hiding, but I was like standing there. I'm like, why is everybody hiding? I was like, I was just standing there, and the door came crashing down. I said, oh my God, I'm the one standing up. The pig is coming for me. So I start running back down the hallway, back to my parents' bed, trying to get under it, right? And I trip. I trip in the hallway. And this pig's on top of me. It's starting to, it's trying to kill me. It's trying to eat me. It's trying to munch me up. Trying to get some of this Tim. Trying to get a good old Tim meal. You know what I'm saying? And I had just watched Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Like, it just came out before this happened. So I'm laying there. This pig's like oinking at me, trying to get on me, trying to eat me. And it says in Shark Boy and Lava Girl, they say blink 3 times and you'll wake up from a dream. And I was laying there, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And then I blinked, didn't wake up. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, don't tell me this movie is a load of crap. I said, don't tell me this movie is fake. I said, it has to work. They said it worked, right? So I'm like, I must have done it too fast. I said, I'll do it slower, because there's rules to blinking 3 times and waking up from a dream. But I said, okay, 1, 2, 3, right? And I woke up. I was in my bed, and I was looking around. I was like, oh my God. Whew, my heart was racing. I was breathing, I was scared. I was trembling. Trembling Tim, waking up in the middle of the night. Twilight. Trembling Tim at twilight. And I look over to my right, and there's a whiteboard in my room. There's not a whiteboard in my room. I was like, what is going on there? What is that? And there was like attack plans drawn on it. I was like, what is going on, right? I look over, and my cousin is sitting there. He's like, glad you're awake, Tim. And the next thing I know, I think it was my sister or my mom, but one of my family members walks around the corner into my bedroom. They peek in, and with the straightest face I've ever seen, like awake or asleep, they say, we know when the next attack will be. And then I actually woke up, and that was the last time I had that dream. And I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the finale. I don't know when it's gonna be. It's gonna be like this like grand war between me, like countless people, and this pig king combo that has been ruling the world by a mighty, I don't even know, corkscrew tail. It's just been eating everybody, the sludge and all. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what I was gonna get to after telling this story. I just thought it'd be funny to tell. But yeah, no, that I was gonna try to tie it in and maybe analyze it, but the more I told it, the more I'm realizing that there's really not much to analyze. Maybe I was scared of pigs when I was a kid. Maybe I was scared of kings as a kid. I didn't want to be ruled. I'm the ruler of my life. No one's the ruler of my life. I don't know. But if you guys want to interpret it and maybe send me a message or something, I'm thinking right after this podcast, I'm gonna make a Twitter account for the Mother-in-Law Suite podcast. So if you have things you want me to talk about, or things you want to say, or anything like that, tweet at me at mother-in-law suite, but the N is just an N and there's no the. So at mother-in-law suite. One word, no spaces. Yeah, no. We'll get that. We'll get that set up. We'll get it set up. We'll get it moving. We'll get it grooving. Get some conversations happening. And yeah, I think whenever I do these shorter ones, or these alone ones, probably gonna keep it around like 20 to 30 minutes. I'm sorry if you're getting gypped on your weekly sweet time. It gets a little tiring. I might kind of get a little crazy talking by myself. I'm talking to a red glowing stick in front of my face, which is my microphone, and I'm just staring at an audiograph of my voice, just thinking, oh, these people are gonna love that. No, but yeah, no, but before we go, we got to talk about some things, some music. The other day I put on a lo-fi hip hop music beats to relax slash study to. I didn't realize how um cerebral can I don't know, cerebral I think is how you say it. It kind of gets, or like, it's kind of crazy, but I got like really in my feels listening to it. I felt really depressed and it was low, but low energy. Usually that doesn't happen to me with music because I listen to metal and it doesn't make me upset or angry. It just calms me down usually. But lo-fi hip hop kind of hits some nerves, but um I have been thinking about piano music, such as maybe Frederick Chopin. I've been listening to some of him. Nocturne Number 2 in E flat major, his one of his most famous pieces. It's very, uh, I guess, intro to classic. You've heard it before. It's in a lot of things. If you have any media intake at all, you've probably heard it. Um, it's good to listen to sometimes. Bach's really fun to listen to too. Um, but what we have right now in, oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to yawn. Um, in my, I guess we'll go from release radar. Let's see what's going on right now, and by who. Hmm. All right, Ailstorm, I think, is a pirate metal band. They released a new song. Maglin's Expedition sounds sick. Dream Theater has a live song that they released. Dreamville has a song. JID, J. Cole, it's just the Dreamville crew. Stick, he released one. Meshuggah did in fact release a new album. The inventors of the genre, Degent, have released an entire new album, and it's very good. So do give them a listen, or a gander with your ears. A new single. Oh, breaking news for me and for you. Animals as Leaders have released a new album, a brand new album. Let's go. Let's go. I've been waiting for it. Been waiting. But yeah, no, we'll leave it on that. We'll leave the music section on that. Animals as Leaders, new album. Go check it out. The album's name is, Parrhesia. Parrhesia. So, yes, please do go and give that a listen, and enjoy it, because Animals as Leaders is by far one of the best bands in music, or I guess musicianship. Very, very good. But yeah, no, I think that's gonna be about it this week for me, for you. If you guys hate this episode, let me know. I'll try, I don't know if you guys want to hear me talk about this kind of stuff or not. Um, I'm gonna try to get a bit more, get a few more people on here. I have a buddy coming out next week. I think that I can get a podcast out of him. Maybe if I pressure him enough. I'm trying. No, I'm not gonna pressure nobody. But if we can, I might be able to get him on, or I might be able to get some people on here sometime soon. I'm also gonna try to start constructing the ones a bit better so it doesn't seem so jumbled for a future update for the podcast in general. If I have any devoted listeners or people who come back each week because you just can't get enough of me, yeah, no, it's gonna. I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be a. I think the future of the mother-in-law suite after the renovations. Get it? We're gonna be made. I think it'll be pretty good. I think it'll start getting pretty good. So, here soon. So, stay tuned for that. Get ready for that. But in the meantime, get out of here. I'm done with you. I'm closing the door. I'm locking the door. There's no more food for you. No, you can't have a water before you leave. Get out. All right? Just leave. All right. Thank you for listening. Adios.